You're watching the PageantCast, and tonight we have Nicole Gearing, Mrs. Premier World 2018, tonight on the PageantCast.
TKPN.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
Here's Wendy.
Hi everyone, my name is Prince Salakis, Miss Multiverse 2017, and you are watching PageantCast, the internet's first podcast about beauty pageants, and here is your host, Tim Kretschmann.
And from the frozen tundra, this is Tim Kretschmann, your host from just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Muskego, Wisconsin, the land of lakes and landfills. And we are excited tonight because we have a very patient guest on the show tonight. We have Nicole Gearing. She is Mrs. Premier World 2018. Good evening, Nicole.
Hi, Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hello. We are so excited to have you tonight. So tell us, where are we calling you tonight?
I live in Sonora, California. I am 2 hours east of Sacramento, central northern California. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but we had 60-degree weather today. So anybody in the Midwest needs to fly on a plane and come see me.
Oh, my goodness. It was only 80 degrees colder where I am today. So I am extremely envious. And I don't know. I'm just befuddled right now. So, Nicole, we didn't get a chance to talk much before the show. So I do have to ask you, how did you get started in all this pageant stuff? And one of the ways I like to ask is, what were your past pageantants? And by pageantants, what I mean by that word is it is a past pageant experience. So what were some of your past pageant experiences before Premier World?
Well, I started modeling in 1999, and I was at a photo shoot, and I had met the reigning Mrs. California America, and I loved her heart of service, and she was beautiful, and she just was all about community, and so I just was really drawn to that. And so I started competing. My first pageant was California America, and the first time I came in and was grateful to make top 10. And the next year I went back and I was third runner-up. Mm-hmm. And then I went off into Mrs. California United States, and I kept competing, and I was third runner-up 3 times in a row, and then finally I had the title of Mrs. California United States in 2008. And I had gone a couple of times at large to United States, and both times came in top 10. So I was super excited about that. And then I had a medical problem in my life where I had migraine headaches, and they were just debilitating. And so I really retired at that point from pageantry. And the other side of that is what motivates me each and every day when I wake up is that I found myself addicted to prescription drugs and painkillers and anti-anxiety drugs. And so, I didn't want it to happen. I was warned it could happen, and I thought, never would it happen to me, and it did. And so I ended up going to several treatment programs, and I finally just surrendered and said, I've got to get off this stuff. And I cried out to God, basically. So for those of you who, have a hard time with the spiritual connection, I'm telling you it's real. So I got myself cleaned up, and about 6 years ago, I started a program called Celebrate Recovery. And my husband and I run that in our community, and it's for anybody with a hurt, habit, or a hang-up, and as well as addictions. And it just points to a relationship with God. It points to the 12 steps, a healing process, and it just really helped me. And So after retirement, I was contacted by an amazing friend of mine. Her name is Wendy Russo, and she was the Mrs. Premier 2017 queen. And she said, "Hey, do you want to compete?" And I was like, "No, I'm retired." But I just had this desire in my heart to, to do that. And so she contacted me last January, and July I competed and won. And I was really excited. And it was an incredible experience to meet so many amazing women that are beautiful, not only on the inside or outside, but on the inside, and do amazing things for their communities. So that's what happened. I came out of retirement, and now the exciting thing is that Kristen Russo, the executive director of Mrs. Premier World, has asked me to be the director of Ms. Premier World and Mrs. Premier World. So I'm going to continue my experience of pageantry in this arena with this hat on. So it's super exciting.
Fantastic. Now, Premier World is it's a newer pageant system, isn't it? So a lot of people aren't familiar with it. So I'm going to go through the standard questions that we always ask in those cases. So are you ready? Here we go. First of all, where is the pageant held?
The pageant is going to be held for the second year in the row in Boise, Idaho, July 17 through 19.
Nice central location to the United States, easy to get to, nice airport. That's fantastic. Now, okay, what are the phases of competition that are part of this particular pageant?
The phases are panel interview, which is 30%, bathing suit and sarong, which is 30%, a gown of your choice, which is 30%, and then 10% is an onstage question and gown.
Hey, that's awesome. It adds up to 100%. That's always a good sign. That's a good sign. Believe me, I've had them where they don't. Or they add up to 120%, and I go, so that's great. Sure. Now, interview, there's always a lot of follow-up questions. You said panel interview. How big of a panel are we talking?
4 to 6 judges.
4 to 6 judges, and how long is the interview? 5, 10, 25
It's about
minutes?
4 to 6 minutes, closer to 6 minutes. So a minute each judge. Yes.
Right. That's pretty standard. I keep kidding people. I say 35-minute interview, and people just look bug-eyed at you. All right, fantastic. And there's 3 on-stage competitions: the swimsuit, the gown, and the on-stage question. An important question always with panel is political and religious. Is that allowed in the judging, or do they stay off of that?
I think it's up to any individual judge, to be honest with you. And the reason I say that is because when I first sat down, I was asked a political question.
Okay. Well, and I know in some pageants, they're like, no, stay away from that. And some pageants, like a certain one that got rid of swimsuits recently, they push it and they don't want them to ask anything else. So, so that's one of the differences there. Now, you said Boise. What time of year is that pageant going to be?
It's this summer, July 17 through 19.
Great.
Yeah.
Easy timing. That's fantastic. And people have lots of time yet to sign up and be a part of Premier World. And I did take a minute to go look at your website, and very nice website. And you can get to everything right there at the Premier World website, and we have the link. If I press the right button, there we go, PremierWorldPageants.com, and it has a beautiful logo I put over there. Let's see if I point the right direction. That way. Yeah. The logo over there. I do that every time. I'm so bad at this. If you click on the logo, there's a lot of information and everything people would want to check out about Premier World pageants. Now, you obviously chose this pageant as sort of a comeback pageant. What was it that convinced you this was a pageant you wanted to get involved in?
Well, two reasons. I have two very special friends. Janice McQueen Ward was the Premier World Queen, as well as Wendy Russo, and I just love both of them, both of those ladies, and just their hearts of service to their community, and just the love that they have in their hearts. So that's really what drew me in, was just the sisterhood. To be honest with you.
Okay, I am going to get busted if I don't ask. Who is the special guest star that is right now running around on the rug behind you?
Her name is Bella, and she is a special puppy. She was actually going to be whenever you're ready, but her name is Bella. Okay. But I'd like to show her for my show and tell.
Oh, show and tell. Hold on, I have a button for that. It's here somewhere. I know I had it right there. There we go. There's the show and tell. We'll write that up on the chalkboard. And a special helper is now helping us. There we go.
Yeah, this
Bella.
is Bella.
Okay. And
she has her little angel wings on. She's not only my sweet puppy and just adorable, but she has come with me a lot to my groups. At Celebrate Recovery, we have open share groups with women and men with men. And she's come and kind of been, she's not an official therapy dog, but she's just provided a lot of love and support to a lot of ladies as well as myself. So that's what makes her so special.
So those aren't real wings then? That's a costume?
They're not.
Oh,
no.
Okay. I was a little concerned at first. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. All right. And also back in the background, I see one of the largest crowns I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have the assistant going.
We do. Yeah, my assistant.
You want to introduce your assistant?
I do. I don't know if he wants to be, but this is Mr. Premier World.
Hello.
And he set up our microphone. Now we're all set here. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm known as the technical
guru.
The crown
well, thank goodness you were here.
Yeah, right? Thank goodness it's true. Anyway, this is, the crown and sash that you'll receive if you compete. And
now our girls want to see the crown box too, so don't hide the crown box. Yeah, that is a nice crown box. That is really special.
I don't remember.
All right, beautiful, great crown. Let's see the crown. Hold it up one time where we can see the crown.
I will get it out for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes finding the right crown box, some of them are just the wrong proportions, and that's tough in itself.
This is Crown Prestige.
Okay.
So they actually custom make the crown cases to fit a crown size.
That's fantastic.
So I have two crowns. One crown I was crowned in. This is the one I was crowned in.
Okay.
Higher, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's shimmery and pretty, and every girl wants a crown. So, compete, and then you can wear a crown, and
between that and the earrings, you're like a disco centerpiece.
Oh.
Wow.
This is our newest crown. Kristen Rosso, the executive director, I'm trying to get it centered. She designed this.
Okay.
Can you see it?
We got a good look at it. What you're going to want to do is put it right in front of your face one time, and then we got it perfect. Right there.
Oh, gotcha.
There you go. All right, now bring it down because we want to see your face.
I'm making it harder than it is.
But that's a beautiful crown. Now, is that thing heavy?
You know what? This one is actually lighter than the other one, yeah. And so this is the crowns that we're giving out this year. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's nice. And it looks like it's looped all the way around. It isn't one of the comb ones. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Now, is there any other prizes in the prize package? There are. Being a new pageant, you're never quite sure what's all involved.
Yes, we have for the Ms. and the Mrs. a red Giovanni full-length gown.
Ooh.
And then I'm giving the Mrs. a Jonathan Kane white lace gown. And we have all kinds of makeup sponsors. We have facial product sponsors, and you also, if you go to All Things Crown, you get 25% off if you're looking for an interview suit from Tracy, or if you're looking for earrings. That sort of thing she's also sponsoring, and I'm working on many more.
Fantastic. That is great news. And it looks like it's really set up for a fantastic event coming to Boise in mid-July. That's great. Okay, we have one of our regular segments here coming up next. It is the Box of Mystery. Ooh, scary, scary. This is the Box of Mystery. I have hundreds of little cards with questions in here. So I go in and I find myself a card at random. Never seen it before. This is a test of your skill. This question right here. Here we go. Question from the random box. In fact, this box is going to come along with me judging this weekend. I'm going to be judging at a pageant, and the magic box comes with me. Okay. Oh, this is a good question for you. So when you're researching a pageant to see if it's one that you'd like to enter, what is it that you're looking for? What are some of the things where do you look, and how do you find out about these pageants, and what is it specifically that you're looking for?
I 100% social media, whether it's be Instagram or whether it be Facebook. Yeah. Okay. And what I'm looking for is how much do the queens, how much service do they do? How much community service are they involved in, and are they continuing to do that? Have they done that before they entered a pageant, during their reign, and do they continue afterwards? Is it something that's really important in their heart, that's important to them, not just having the crown and the sash?
So tell us a little bit about the appearances that you've been involved in this year. I was looking around and I don't even know where to start. So tell me about some of your favorite appearances during the year. Let's keep it within 3-hour period here.
Yeah. Well, I went down to a summit called it's Celebrate Recovery. I told you that I run that, and so I went down to a summit where there were 2,300 people there, and a lot of them gave their testimonies of changed lives, and talked about how their life has changed and how they're going back to their communities and having an impact. And so I made an appearance there, and I have another appearance that's coming up. It's called a One Day for Celebrate Recovery, and that's, again, where in Sacramento area we have people who've had changed lives because of Celebrate Recovery, have found the hope for healing for new beginnings. Mm-hmm. And I just get to hear people, not only their own life changing like mine has because of Celebrate Recovery and recovery, but also just the impact that they just, each day they have a passion to just go and share their story and bring people hope.
Now, I neglected to ask you this earlier, and that's bad host. Celebrate Recovery, is there a website for that? Is there something people should be following? Yeah.
CelebrateRecovery.com. Yeah, you can go to that.
CelebrateRecovery.com.
Yeah, it's very simple, and you can go to a group locator, and that group locator will tell you meetings in your area. And right after being crowned Mrs. Premier World, I also became a California state representative. So I have influence just not only in my two areas, my Tuolumne County, my area, but the sister county, of making sure, anybody that has any questions, I'm there to support and encourage. But I also have influence over California, and I also wanted to say that I work with New Life Spirit Recovery. That is a program, drug and alcohol program in Huntington Beach, and that's where 7 years ago I really received the help that I needed. And I think the thing that sets New Life Spirit Recovery apart from other treatment programs, for me, and I've experienced that, is that they have 3 days a week of intense counseling in those rooms where you're able to walk in and just talk about stuff that maybe you thought you forgot about or you wish you had been able to forget about, but really is affecting your life today. So I am their community outreach resource coordinator, and I just work hand in hand with them. And so that's the other thing, that being able to not just, the crown and the sash is just not about just the crown and the sash. It's about what is important to you. What do you want to see change? What do you want to speak into? What's your passion? And the crown and the sash do help. I just wanted to share a really quick story, and that is July 18, I had 750 friends on Facebook, and then after winning, 2 days later, I had 5,000, and that's the limit that you can have with Facebook. And so that's another reason for anybody that is passionate about anything. Competing is the greatest way to have a voice, because it really does give you an audience. And again, it's not about me. It's about that crown and that sash and that title, having a voice to go out and make a difference and make a change.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great talking to you. We're getting near the end of the interview. Are there any things that you want to make sure that you can tell our listeners and viewers around the world before we close the show tonight?
I just, again, want to just, if you know anybody that is struggling with the prescription drug opioid epidemic, alcoholism, food addiction, anything, look up Celebrate Recovery. And also, if treatment is needed, New Life Spirit Recovery, and talk to an intake coordinator. And also just pay attention to your family members and people around you for suicide tendencies. That is just the greatest thing that I want to put out there is, I, in my addiction, struggled a lot with suicidal tendencies, thought a lot about suicide, and I just thank God and my family for intervening and saving my life. And so just, if you don't know what to do, reach out and talk to somebody who's been there. There's a lot of resources out there. So anyway, that's the greatest thing that I want to say. Thank you so much for having me.
Advice. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And as we're getting to the close of the program, one of the things we always like to do is we like to see your best pageant wave. And I'm sure you've got a lot of experience being in parades and all these things. You must have a great pageant wave. So what I'm going to do is change it to the camera so we can see this all perfectly. And there are people there. Okay, that's a little high. We need, okay. And the camera. There we go. Okay, so that is called the Clean the Windows pageant wave. Now, that one's tiring, though, isn't it? That one gets, yay. Okay, well, you're a better person than I would pass out from all the activity, but that happens all the time for me. So, great. Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you for being patient with us here at the beginning of the show. And we really appreciate having you on the program, and we invite everybody to check out PremierWorldPageants.com and be a part of the Premier World Pageants out there in July in Boise, Idaho. Am I forgetting anything?
No, you got it.
Not bad for an old guy. Look at that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. And we're going to say Tierra Dreams until next time. Good night, everybody. Tierra
Good night.
Dreams. Thank you, Nicole.